Today's edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox is brought to you by Luke's Seafood and Grill in Davie.
Hold the mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Beefo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Doing a doubleheader today and a little bit of a late start, but you know, it is, after all, opening day, so maybe a doubleheader is appropriate, although I don't know if these ball players are in their contracts can work back-to-back like we do here on the Lunchbox. And we are here at Luke's Seafood and Grill. It is a spectacular day. I was running a little late because it's one of those days, Lubie, where I got up and I was going to go to the gym, and I said, you know what? It's too nice to be inside, so I headed down to Dania, Hollywood Beach.
Nice.
And took a nice little almost 5-mile walk past the new Lucky Fish that opened up on the beach there on the south end of the Dania Pier parking lot. I didn't realize it's open for breakfast, so it's like a breakfast option for people that want to get there, overlooking the beach. And then I went into our friends at Grandpa's. I saw Mark Freed. He has an obsession with like piling up candy and putting it into boxes. I don't know what that's all about. He sells these candies there, and he puts the non-parallels, which I love, the snow caps, with the dark chocolate. But anyway, went in there. I saw him. I ran into a couple of people at Grandpa's, and we're waiting for Luke. Luke's going to come out. He's making some great lunch for us. He's got chili on the menu board as a special, and his chili is really, really good, and it is lean and mean and has a nice little kick. And I put on the Let's Eat group earlier today the fact that we were going to be starting a little bit later, and there was some really nice messages on there, people who have been in here in the last week, including somebody who had the chili last night and said it was kick-ass in a good way. I mean, had a good, nice, kick and spice. Another woman who came in for picking up some stuff for her mom's birthday and said, Luke, we couldn't have been more accommodating in terms of taking payment over the phone and bringing all the food out to curbside for her. And that's the kind of stuff you get here at Luke's Seafood and Grill. It's that personal touch. It's really, again, if you haven't been out here, it's 5511 South University Drive. The quintessential mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
Luke and his wife, Roxy.
Nice, yep.
They're here all the time. They will make you feel warm and welcome. They have weekly specials. Wednesday and Thursday have half-price wine days where you get a bottle of wine for half price. That's a good deal.
That's a ridiculous
deal. They also have happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. from Tuesday through Friday because they're closed on Mondays here at Luke's. And I'm just all over the place. I'm hyped up because I'm high on life.
And after a guy who did pulled a Mayo this weekend, and I ate out, was it 3 different times? And one was at a seafood restaurant, and we talked about it earlier in the week, and it had the views, and it was wonderful. I like the professor, like you and I have talked about. Views are great. I'm all about views, but I would trade the food I ate there 10 times for the food we've had each and every time here at Luke's.
Yeah, no, and this is, again, the draw here is fresh, quality seafood prepared really well by a expert,
Again, it reminds me of
chef who
even
used
Keel.
to be.
It's smaller. A very highly acclaimed, highly trained chef opened up a place that it has a comfortable feel with elevated dishes.
And, the thing is, for those of you who are inland, who live in central or western Broward and you don't want to schlep all the way out to the beach, especially on a weeknight, this place is perfect. They have all those specials, the weekly specials, the Comfort Bowl.
Yep.
And you know what? Who needs a view of the ocean and the waves? We see that all the time. Here you got a view of the car wash, but that's okay because you're going to be looking down at your bowls and your plates. I was just going to tell you,
the point of that made zero sense to me and my wife as we were talking to family and eating the whole time. I don't think I looked at the view once.
Right.
So I'd rather have had much better
These
food.
days, how many people are even looking at, even if you're sitting next to the ocean, everybody's down on their phones anyway. But
So anyways, come
beef
out
and
to
meat.
Luke's. You don't deal with any of the east outside
We've
traffic.
got the lovely Roxy dropping in some cutlery. Come on to the
She's not gonna
set.
come on.
She's
One day, I
so
told her we'll
shy.
get her a little tipsy.
One
and
of
then
these
she'll
days,
loosen
this
up and
is
come on with us.
on my bucket list of life goals is to
I
get
don't know if that's good or
the
bad.
lovely Roxy to come on the show. I don't even want her to have to speak and put on a headset. I just want people to
It's
see
good to do.
her bright, shining face. Of course, we're going to see Luke in a second. But getting back to Grandpa's, okay.
Yeah.
It was good to see Freed. I was lining up dates for our next couple of shows there because
Nice.
we're going to do one before Passover
yeah.
or Pesach, as
There you
they
go.
say in the old country. But we're going to be there on the Wednesday before Passover. We're going to be there the Wednesday before Mother's Day. He was bagging up and boxing his candies to sell up front. And you know, of course, me, I can't resist a good giving a guy a note. And it's not a shot. But my one, it's not even a complaint. I love their matzo ball soup. I love his matzo balls, the broth, the chicken. It's one of those, you know, stock full, chock
It has
full
everything.
of
Yeah, it's what
chicken
my
and
grandmother
vegetables.
would've
They just made
yeah.
big batches
My
today
father.
to put in
Too.
their freezer for carry out and go. They what's called chicken in the pot, which is a great dinner. And he's
Oh,
going to have
nice.
a chicken in the pot. He's bringing one home for himself, where you get like the whole kind of cut up pieces of chicken
Yeah.
in the soup
chicken that's left,
with
yeah.
the matzo
great.
balls and all that stuff. And but you know, I was just up in New York, and my hometown deli, the Mill Basin Kosher Deli
Yeah.
in Brooklyn, where I grew up, they have a very nice matzo ball soup. It doesn't have as much stuff and chicken as the at Grandpa's, but what they do have is these thin egg noodles that I grew up loving.
No.
Which
See, I'm used to the noodles they use.
back in the
spaghetti-esque.
yeah, what they use is an angel hair pasta.
That's the noodle.
And they're long strands, and I feel like I'm in an Italian restaurant where I gotta like get a spoon and start twirling it.
Wait, so what's the noodle you're used to?
So like, and you know, when I have those angel hair noodles in a chicken noodle soup, I feel like it's more of an Italian style pasta and brodo, they call it. But so I kind of hammered them. Well, I said, can't you like?
So what noodle do they use up there?
I
Like, I have to
now
look
their
this up.
egg noodles come in different widths.
Yes.
Some of them are the extra wide. Some of them are the medium.
Oh, you're right. The thicker,
the ribbon ones. I don't like the thicker ones.
Yeah, I don't.
What I
either,
like
though.
is it's called the thin egg noodles. What we called back in New York in Yiddish was
I don't know.
Luction. I don't know how to spell Luction,
Yeah,
but my
good
grandmother always said, "Oh, you want some Luction with your Canadalach?" And I'm going old school now.
Yeah, but okay, they're
Luction-
still they look like pasta kind of noodles. They're
Okay,
just,
I got.
so what's different? I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
What's different about it then?
No, it's basically an Italian pasta. It's not an egg noodle. It's a whole. It's a wheat. You know, kind
No,
of.
I'm talking about. I'm looking at the noodle that I agree with you. This is what my grandma used.
no,
Whatever,
I'm gonna-
but it looks like a pasta style kind of noodle.
All right, I
So
sent
what's
the-
different
So I'm
about
such a I was like talking to Clive, who runs the food operations there, and another guy who actually makes the soup, and we were all saying
they're shorter.
And look, they're shorter because you don't have to chop up the angel hair.
Okay, so it's that but
That-
shorter.
yeah,
they're in
and-
like little
and
pieces.
It's in little pieces, and it's
Okay.
like it fits on your spoon. So if you take a
That's true.
spoonful of the soup and the broth, and you get like a carrot and a little chunk of chicken, and then the noodles fit right on there. The noodles, the angel hair is like slip sliding everywhere. You either got to
It's
chop
more
it
of a pain
up
in the
or
butt,
use a
yes,
knife.
That's true.
Here, this is
No,
like,
I have it.
people
I
can't
know
see it, but this is the thin egg
it's
noodles.
the same thing. They're just they're in pieces.
They're in little pieces, and they're egg noodles.
Because you're not doing this when you're eating a soup. I
Yeah, and the angel hair doesn't have the egg noodle part of it. Now, egg noodles are a little bit more expensive,
get it. Okay, is that
but
what it
Freed
is?
claimed that he said it has nothing to
Yeah, I don't
do
think
with
it's a price.
cost. And but apparently the angel hair has a lot of fans.
Yeah,
but,
I love it. I've never in a soup. I don't think about it, but I like it as a Italian dish.
But leave it to me to like.
Yeah, I've never thought about it.
And
it
it
and
always.
I'm pretty analytical about food and things. That's why when we go in the weeds like this and Defo makes fun of us,
Oh yeah.
I go with you because I do overanalyze every dish. And being with restaurateurs, that's why they go with you because that's what they do. They overanalyze.
These
every
are
dish.
the little
This
things.
I will say I have not.
These are the
analyzed.
little things that sometimes make or break a dish, or
Yeah,
a
for sure.
critic might come in and look. Everything always goes back to okay. So I grew up with these thin egg noodles, Luctions in my soup.
Nostalgia.
I happen to love it because it fits on the spoon. This is what it
Yes,
looks like.
exactly. I know.
Nobody,
It's a little
I would
thicker
say-
than it's a little softer,
yeah,
and they're little.
but it's just
bits.
shorter. It just
Yeah.
fits on the spoon. So I don't know whether he's going to take the note or not. I sent him the picture.
I don't know. If
I also invited him, and he is
He should come with
excited
us.
and enthused to come to the next brunch bash at Gulfstream
Yeah, it's a
Park
week
at
from
10
this Sunday.
Palms, April 6th.
Yep.
He has the busy brunch rush there
Yeah.
at Grandpa's, but when it quiets down, we're going to be
We'll be
there
there all day.
from 12 o'clock till 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Racing live from Gulfstream as well as simulcasting from Keeneland, which I love.
Yep.
And I told him, when the rush dies down at 1 o'clock, come on over.
Yep.
And it'll be on us because we love to treat our sponsors well because they treat us well.
Really well. Yep.
And he says he will make it there, which is great. And you too are invited if you want to come.
Man,
you don't have to be a contest. Don't have to be a contest winner. Everybody is invited to the April 6th Lunchbox Brunch Bash at 10 Palms at Gulfstream. Joe Beja, gracious host, is extending a discount of 20% off the regular price, which is usually $55, $44 plus tax and tip for those who want to come out that day. And if you want to come out, all you got to do is RSVP me by email to MikeMayoEats@gmail.com. Again, MikeMayoEats, all one word, @gmail.com. Just tell me the number of people in your party along with your name, and we'll get you signed up. All right, meanwhile, it is lunchtime here at Luke's. I am so excited because I haven't eaten a thing today. I did my walk.
You haven't eaten anything?
No, because the Gila Monster juice was effective today in terms of, I find that when I go to the gym and do a hard workout, it really gets my appetite up.
Yep.
But when I do like a low impact, more of just like a 4 or 5 mile walk.
Oh, we have a big day today.
The appetite doesn't kick in. All I had was a cup of black coffee and 2 strawberries. The tostones we've got, he's going to explain all the food that we've got. Yeah. We've got one of my favorite jambalayas in town. I love it. He's got the good seasoning.
We'll put this far away.
And he's got beignets. These look like dessert beignets. I was expecting like a crab.
Remember,
or
he does
shrimp
different
beignets.
desserts here.
This is a beignet
in-house.
Nice. All right, we're going to get Luke in here in a second. Why don't we take our first break?
Yeah, it works.
Before we do, 2 quick things. 2 people I ran into at Grandpa's.
Okay.
One of them is a commissioner in Dania Beach, AJ Ryan. His family has been involved in Dania politics and also Broward politics for a long time. They also have a real estate company. But AJ is, I guess, 3rd generation. He was the mayor of Dania for a term, and now he's on the commission. But I ran into him. He goes, "I love your show. I watched the watch." AJ Ryan, commissioner in Dania Beach, is a Lunchbox fan. So AJ, it was good running into you this morning.
Nice. We love you, AJ.
And it's nice to see that the show has fans, is being watched besides the Let's Eat South
as much as my wife doesn't believe it.
And the other person I ran into on the corner, who I recognized, I hadn't seen in a while, but he looks great, actually. Former sheriff of Broward County, Ken Jenny.
Ken
Jenny, who me and him have had a tumultuous hot and cold relationship. Now, he was a politician who got elected sheriff and then got to some trouble because of some of the things he did. He actually got sent away.
Really? As a sheriff?
He served some federal prison time.
They
got him on a pretty nitty-gritty thing. He was doing, they thought he was doing some other things, but they got him on something like using his, official secretary to drop off dry cleaning or do something like that. Like they got him on a technicality.
That's weird.
But he also,
because he had done some real stuff.
He had done some real stuff. So he did a plea deal, right?
Yeah, get me on this thing. So
now,
I get over the real stuff.
The thing with Ken Jenny is he could have been really, he just went down the wrong path for reasons unbeknownst to me. But when I saw him today, and he's older and presumably wiser, but I was just thinking, I wanted to ask him, but but I guess, what do they call it? Not rudeness. What's the opposite of rudeness?
Tact?
Politeness precluded me from asking. As like,
oh wow.
I was like, Ken, can you imagine why did you go away? Like, can you imagine what, when he looks at the news today and sees what's going on in Washington, D.C., he must think, like, how the hell did I have to go away? And everything that's going on, none of these people are taking into account. World. All right, that concludes our politics discussion for the day.
But I'm done.
We didn't get too far into it.
No, Ken Jenny, a longtime figure. And again, I was a news columnist for 13 years. I've been around way too long. We welcome back to the show. I always love coming here for our monthly visits. Luke and Roxy, are you excited? Not just because you're seeing us, but because it's opening day.
And he's a baseball guy.
That is tomorrow.
And wait, no.
But isn't there always one game the night before?
14 games today. Do you realize today, Wednesday? This makes no sense.
Is it really game?
Or is it Thursday?
No, it's Thursday. I looked it up.
Am I way ahead of myself?
Yeah.
Hold on, guys.
Yes.
not opening day until the Yankees play.
Oh,
So
okay.
hence,
Thursday
tomorrow's
is the
opening.
official. There's no games today.
Wait, the Marlins are not opening today?
The Marlins play tomorrow at 4:10 against possibly the best pitcher in baseball.
This is what this Gila monster juice is doing
Yeah,
to me.
it's
I'm
Thursday.
totally screwed up. I
As
thought,
it always is. It's always a Thursday.
but wait, you know what? There already has been an opening day
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Tokyo.
The Dodgers had a game.
Cubs.
Yes. The Dodgers and the Cubs
Dodgers.
We
played
don't
in
know who that
Japan.
Dodgers, the team that
Oh.
beat your ass.
That
in the
team
World
You're like
Series.
it's
We don't
crazy
know
how
who
much
that
of a
team is.
Yankee fan you are. That's so interesting to me.
All right, so
That
let me
is probably my
backtrack.
favorite team.
Opening day is
That's interesting.
tomorrow,
That's a South Florida guy.
but I guess hope springs eternal for Yankee
Well,
fans.
Well,
yeah.
the reason the
their
Yankees are
lineup's
probably
nuts.
my favorite team is the one team
They
since
don't let you down.
1992 that
They
always
don't
has
let-
a chance.
They don't let you down. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
They try
true.
and
Always
succeed.
contend.
Because that's one thing to say for the Dolphins that you always point out to us is they actually do try. They've always tried. Every owner they've had has tried.
Exactly.
They just don't always succeed. The
Exactly.
Yankees do the trying and succeeding thing.
Exactly.
So when do the Mets open?
I think so. I don't.
Is
so
it
not
tomorrow
everyone's
as
tomorrow.
well? I thought there was like a slate of games tomorrow and a slate
Yeah,
of
pretty
games on
much.
Friday. But
Yeah, I think everyone. plays
Usually
tomorrow.
everyone plays tomorrow.
Everyone plays tomorrow.
does it seem
And then there's
wrong
a
that
day
it's,
in between.
that
Let's
it's
play
still
tomorrow.
late March? Like, didn't they used to open in April?
I
April.
thought it was early April. Yeah,
Yeah, and
I don't know
I
why
think
that
they
is.
started moving the schedule up since
Because of the weather.
Not just weather, since the WBC came around.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
okay.
They started moving up since then, and then plus.
But then also the season's longer now, right? Because you added
No, still
playoff
162.
rounds.
It's still
I'm talking
exactly.
about
They-
you added. I'm talking about like
Exactly.
months of the year.
Yeah.
Like an already long seasons now. Like every World Series
Because now there's
is in
16
November now.
in the
like,
playoff
Mhm.
instead of the usual 4.
But remember that year
So there's an extra round.
Right.
because of 9/11, Jeter became Mr. November.
Yeah, that was the
Right.
first
Because we hadn't
time
had
the
November.
World Series played in November.
Right.
Correct.
But now because we've added I think 2 rounds now with
Mhm.
all the wild cards and all that.
Yeah, it
it's
goes
always in
deep
November.
into November. It's like the first week in November is
always
when
in
it
November now.
concludes. They've
Yeah.
got, I don't want to say
And
it's greed, but it's
More-
greed.
It is
Not-
greed. More
it's
TV
greed.
game, more revenue.
But it's
Yeah,
made the
that's
end
the way
of
it
the season more interesting. Like I'm not gonna lie, as a Marlins fan who we got in because of a wild card a couple years ago.
Yeah, interesting
true.
in the
So a lot
sense
more team
that
has chance.
when you start a season in late March, there already were snow outs in April in northern
Oh, you're
cities.
gonna have some. Yeah.
Now you're going to have more like cold weather snow games, which is always amusing for us down here in Florida. Us with barely a team, but at least they have a roof.
Barely a team. I like that.
I mean, it is. Really
well, I mean, let's
at
face
this
it.
point, for real.
You are usually a South Florida super fan. You love your Dolphins.
He does.
You love your Hurricanes.
I
There's a
love the
reason he
Heat.
never came over to the Marlins.
Not just the Marlins.
He came over to every single team,
But-
except the Marlins.
Well, it goes back to the team that I rooted for since I was a kid always has a chance.
yeah, they always try.
So there's no need to look on the other side of the yard.
Now, I hate to bring up any pain, but does it strike you
Do
as
you?
slightly ironic,
I don't think you do.
or I don't know if it's irony or what you call it, but the fact that the Marlins, a horrible, no good, very
Bad team.
poorly administered and managed team over the years, have actually won 2 World Series titles, which is exactly 2 more championships more than the Dolphins have won in the time since the Marlins have been born.
Not necessarily, and I'll say this: hockey and baseball are the 2 sports. If you go to get hot, or if you have
Pitchers,
one
yeah,
or 2 good
That happened
pitchers,
for the Marlins. Yeah,
you could
all the
run the
time.
table.
All right, so let's
And
do a
quarterback, you
rundown.
need the team.
Yeah.
in
Since the
football.
Dolphins last won a Super Bowl in 1970, was it 4?
3.
3 seasons, 74, the
yeah,
calendar.
Yes.
We've had the Marlins win 2 championships.
His Canes are
The
one
Heat have won how many? 3?
3.
3 championships.
3.
Even the Panthers have won.
Yeah.
1
Canes have
championship.
won what?
Canes
That
have
6?
won 5.
5. Are you feeling bad yet being
No,
a Dolphin
Dolphins
fan?
still
No,
run the
he's a
town.
Yankee fan.
The
So
Dolphins
he's
still
okay.
runs the town.
Yeah, they sort of do.
Do you care about the draft?
I do. NFL draft, I do.
Are you still defending Chris Greer?
Of course.
He's
I love
hopeless. He's hopeless.
He's
But you know what?
He's a believer, and
I'm not a believer.
he
I
doesn't-
believe in players play and
Well,
coaches
that's the thing.
coach
He
and
doesn't
GM
blame.
do the best
He-
that they could do.
he doesn't
Players
blame
play,
himself.
coaches coach, and Dolphins always fail.
Find a
That's
way,
that's
yeah.
one of the, you know what? I'm gonna let it go.
Hey, you're not changing me.
No, we're aware.
It's
Look at it. His shirt says "good food, good mood," and then it should say ... until Mayo comes and starts hammering me
Oh,
about
not
my
at all. I love
sports
it.
He doesn't.
Because
He's smart.
the
He's
one
not a
time that
lunatic
they're
like me.
finally gonna win, it is gonna be
Oh no! Whenever they win,
there's
it'll
gonna be a
be
problem
the
in this
place will
town.
burn. It'll be like
Yes.
Boston. Like
Yes.
the Dolphins ever win. I said that when I was in college. And I went on to have a sports broadcasting career, so I was going to Super Bowls for free. So that might have changed things for me. But like when I was in college, and even then, it was 20-something years. like I said, the one thing I would ever pay about a ton of money was to see the Dolphins play in the Super Bowl. And we're 20 years later, and I'm still holding on.
Is there another city like this? I don't know.
I don't know either. It is a strange coincidence. I mean, it's a strange city in that this is, a football town. It's the team that most people care the most
and
about.
our owners have put money into them. It's not like we haven't had
owners do
cheap. We haven't had cheap owners. Like the owners spend. Isaiah spent into Ross, who spent a ton. Like,
and there's talent is just.
Meanwhile, I'm a little scared because the other week at this steakhouse around the corner from my house, Daniel's Steakhouse, apparently there was a whole big collection of bigwigs in the building in a private dining room, including Juan Soto, the new almost billionaire Met. Steve Cohen,
close to being a billionaire.
Yeah, Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, and Steve Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, was there. And I'm just, as a Mets fan, I'm a little bit scared because I don't know, if just being in Ross's vicinity will rub off on the Mets, and all these expectations will crumble.
Do the Mets need anybody to rub off on them?
No, they're the Mets. You're right. You got me. I'm a Mets fan. I've been alive a long time, and I've only seen. Well, actually,
at least they've gone a couple times.
2 world championships, and they've gone a couple of times. But the Yankees definitely, I have to say, are the more successful overall franchise. But we're going to keep trying, and we'll see what happens. And I love, the fact that maybe we'll have a little prop bet this year. Who has the better regular season?
Year. Yeah, you should. Sure, you should.
And we'll come up with the terms of it afterwards. But meanwhile, I'm such an a-hole because I'm riding him all the time. What does he do? He does nothing but bring out great food.
This jambalaya is so ridiculous.
And
I know we've had a lot of times now.
Conversation which I enjoy.
Well, because you're calm and we're not, so it's just fun to hear you. You don't ebb and flow as most South Florida sports fans. Well, I don't know how you are when you're watching the game. I'm sure your fandom actually comes out.
Oh yeah.
You're not as patient and understanding.
Don't bother me.
Look, and this is me being calm because during a game I want to fire everyone. I don't think anyone should ever be on the field. And then after the game, I'm like, yeah, Tua's not so bad. Da 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 da. This is me calm, so this is you calm. It's another level. But it's just fun because we ebb and flow as fans. And Mayo's not even really a fan anymore because he probably couldn't take it. And you were just like, we're just going to keep going.
I've only gotten that way in my older days.
I've become a bitter old man, but I do enjoy watching playoff, caliber teams, and I'm enjoying watching the Panthers. I guess they've hit the skids a little bit before playoff time, right? Did they lose a couple?
Well, because they have 5 people out, but they've actually hung around.
And it's
injured as they are, and suspensions and trades, they've actually played. They've hung right there.
And it's actually a good thing, I think, that some of these players are out now. You get your rest before the big push. Are you into it? Are you going to be watching Stanley Cup hockey?
Not really.
Not really? Okay.
That's the one sport I've tried to get into, but
if you've ever gone in person,
it's great live. I have.
Yeah.
I have.
But I've been watching it a lot because they're on over-the-air TV this year on that Channel 39. So I've actually tuned into a couple games. And there was that stretch there. I think they won 6 in a row or something where they just were playing.
That's the part I wish the Heat was more accessible because being on this valley sport and
a lot of places don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you do a Hulu or a YouTube or a lot of these other options, because not many people have cable anymore. You can't. Because that's the thing is, Default will try and talk about this stuff, and I know what's going on with the Heat, but I don't watch night and night out. I don't have it, and I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. It's just hard.
I didn't know if they're still playing. Oh, but they beat the Warriors the other night, right? Which is okay, small consolation.
Yeah, but they beat the Warriors.
It was nice. It was no Steph, but
but was Jimmy Butler on the floor?
Yeah, he played horrendous.
So this is where you try to stick it to a guy who stuck it to you pretty good. Was that satisfying? The only consolation for the season?
I love the Heat, but I'm on the Jimmy Butler bandwagon. I'm sorry.
Oh, you really? You want to see the Warriors go all the way?
I do.
Oh, really?
You harbor no ill will towards a guy who just pulled such a prima donna act.
No, I hold no ill will towards a guy before he got here who was irrelevant.
Yeah.
And then once he got here, we went to 2 finals, and then he left, and then we lost 10 in a row. So hence, I'm always on the side of the talent.
So you saw the value in him.
Yes.
Even though he was a total dog in terms of.
But was he though? Was he?
Well, the end, yeah.
He basically went on strike.
Hold on.
It was even worse than Harden.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There's the other side to it that fans seem to forget here.
By the way, the jambalaya, as I mentioned earlier,
my favorite jambalaya.
One of my favorite jambalayas.
And Tom T does a great job, and Batch does a great job.
This is great. I love your spices, and it's just chock full of the good stuff.
Thank you.
Andouille sausage, shrimp, chicken. Oh, it's all there. What do you got in front of us here? This is a new dish, right?
It's something that we're kind of working on. We're probably going to roll out around summertime.
Okay.
It's going to be our little seafood tostones.
Ooh,
As you know, I'm a big
South Florida guy.
Caribbean guy,
Okay, yeah.
so
Now I'm not usually the world's biggest tostones fan, but I'm gonna take one of these whole.
that's
Do
why
you, are
there's
you
two of
supposed
them.
to eat them with your hands? Is
If
this
you
a
can,
handful?
go
Well,
for it.
this is
Yes,
pretty big,
Okay,
so I
I
probably
usually
won't.
don't do this
It's-
anymore, but it's a little bit sloppy. But what's on here? I see some cut up like
we got some.
tuna,
No, actually,
Not
it's
watermelon,
shrimp, scallops. We got a little tomato salsa with some mango,
tomato
avocado, and jalapeno corn cream sauce.
You know
Which-
what? I
ooh.
shouldn't have
Top
taken
it
one
off.
yet because
No,
I should
all
take
yours.
a picture of it yet.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You know what? Let's take our first break,
Let's do that.
and then I'll take a picture of this, and I could post it somewhere later
do.
because these are pretty as a picture of these tostones.
You're the
And
beautiful
tostones, of course, are made from
plantain.
plantains, but you pound it out. It's not the sweet.
It's not maduros. It's when the plant
Not the sweet,
plantains
not the
are
sweet,
more ripe,
sweet
more-
plantain.
less
You
ripe.
want it-
They're
exactly.
more like greenish. Even
Because you
yellow.
don't want that sugar, because
Yep.
that sugar, if you fried it, is going to get really brown.
This is
So.
savory as opposed to that's
No, I'm trying to avoid the sugars these days,
This is-
and
and it's actually it's
this
super. You
looks
eat it really,
really good. All right,
Just
I'm going
good.
to take the first bite, and then we're going to take our break. It looks good. Tostones for the summertime. It's going to be on the menu starting when?
It's going to be a special. We'll run it every now and then.
thin. Special. We are at Luke's Seafood and Grill here in Davie. More Mike Mayo's Lunchbox after this.
Oh, that's good. And it's on my note. Looking for great seafood that's a little further inland? Luke's Seafood and Grill. That's Luke's with a C. 5511 South University Drive in Davie. Luke and Roxy, they're a great couple with great food. It's a mom and pop shop bringing the freshest fish and seafood to Western Broward. Some of the best jambalaya and fish cakes around. And Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? You can find his famous Scoobies, those sauteed crab claws, right there on the specials board most days. Oh, so good. So take a trip to University just north of Sterling today. Lunch, dinner, closed on Mondays. Tell them Mike Mayo's Lunchbox sent you. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Feel like getting away without leaving town? Then you got to check out the House on the River in Fort Lauderdale. It's a beautiful restored historic home with indoor and outdoor dining right on the New River. You'll think you're in Charleston or Savannah. It has a gorgeous patio, porches, and private dining areas, and it offers unique experiences perfect for a date night or fun times with friends and family. It has weekend brunches, happy hour, dinner Wednesday through Sunday. There's also a high tea on Friday and Saturdays, and the popular House of Veuve Champagne experience on weekends. The House on the River is in Fort Lauderdale's Himmershey District, just south of the Science Museum. For reservations and information, go to the House on the When people ask me about the best restaurants in South Florida, Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk and Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, It's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-face smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox, sent you. Hey, it's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the lunch. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox, talking seafood and sports with Luke, proprietor here. I've lost track of time. It's almost 2-year anniversary coming up in June.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, that's so
Time
cool.
is flying.
so
So
great.
we're almost into April. And
How has season number 2 been?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, we're starting to pick up steam. It feels like people, at least on the group, are starting to mention you guys more and more.
Yeah, we're growing. Like I like to tell people, we're growing.
And I
It's
love
not stagnant.
seeing
That's
the
it.
stories like was posted on the post this morning, and people commenting that they've been in here in the last week and how accommodating and nice you are, and you're running food out curbside like it was in the middle of the pandemic again. You'll do anything for your guests, right?
We'll do.
Yeah.
If that's my girl Jennifer. She couldn't make it inside, so we'll do whatever we got to do to get the good food and good mood to people. Put it that way.
Good food, good mood. You can't help it if you come here. And got some late lunch guests in there. I always like to see them having a little bit of wine. And again, it's Wine Wednesday and Thursday, right?
That is
Half
correct.
price
Nice.
bottles.
Half price bottle of wine every Wednesday and Thursday night. Along
Yeah.
with some good food.
And you got happy hour going on 4 days a week, Tuesday through Friday.
That is correct. 3 to 6.
There's picking up people coming in for some of the light bites,
Yeah.
happy hour bites, and all
Just like today, like we have a few stragglers that come on. Wine night is especially for dinner.
that.
Yeah, you get hammered.
Yep, yeah.
People love it.
Yeah, well,
Well, then I
unless
got
me and Defo, that's about the only ones who like to hammer the wine at lunchtime. And these days, I'm actually being well behaved. Hey, it is already happy hour here. 3.
Mhm.
It's after 3 o'clock, so
There you
come
go.
on
Come
out.
on in.
5511 South University Drive in Davie. I love these places, which are I call them mom and pops. It's basically
We are mom and pop.
yeah. It's independently owned and operated. You could tell about the care and the quality and the commitment to guest satisfaction.
Again, it goes back to how you start the segment with us taking our food to the guests because they can't
Yeah.
come inside.
Would you ever,
to pick it up?
and I get it, you've worked at bigger establishments, and you've been very clear in why you're here. Would you ever want anything bigger at this point? Like our friend Reno, again, his place is jamming, and it's on purpose. Like he's gotten to cultivate his clientele out east, and you guys remind me a lot about that, where you do elevated stuff. You're very friendly, but you don't mess around when it comes to your food and it comes to what you do. Would you want anything bigger than this?
I'm not going to sit here and say no, but as of right now, I
You're
love
very
the
happy
intimacy that I have with people that come in here.
It's all about
I'm not good with, pardon me, I'm not good with the name of Roxy is. We know all the regulars that come in, she knows them by name.
That's
I
great.
know what they eat,
That's great.
just to come out and greet people and have a little chat with them, even on a busy Saturday night. It's,
That's sick.
that's what I love about what it is that I do. The food is great, but the camaraderie, the connection we build
Atmosphere.
with people in the community, that's the number one thing for me.
and I use the term right size a lot. Some places are meant to be bigger places. You can't begrudge a
Mhm.
place like our sponsor Tropical Acres. They do a lot of covers.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
a big place. They've been in business a long time.
Yep.
Joe Stonecrab. It's a good fit for what they've become. And this is the right size for you guys now because you're pumping out quality product, and it's at some point.
Yeah, but
I
if a
guess-
place is bigger, does that mean, I don't want to use words like pressure, but like I know rent would be more obviously and costs are more. Like when you have it feels like a more intimate place, allows you a
Yeah,
little
you
more
just let
freedom.
us connected.
Mhm.
Like other places that you're just not as connected,
Yeah.
you know, to the people that come here. You know, like
Try to
we,
touch every
we have
table.
regulars that come in, like my man, you know, Mike and his wife Nancy, that come in all the time, and whenever they come, I'm at the bar, I'm chatting with them if we're not too busy, and you know, we build personal relationship. You know, Ben from the cigar bar, we build personal relationship with people that, you know, if we're
lose that.
bigger, we don't have that.
I tell you what, I'm feeling pretty connected to this chili right now. It's really good. I love that chili. That
I know people
extra
love your
hit.
seafood soups, and
Chili.
you can do those, but your chili's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that's good. And
Like I
again,
said-
it's a nod to some people don't love seafood or can't eat certain seafood products, and you always mindful to have some of the, I guess, poultry and meat options, right?
Yeah.
That,
Well, the mojo chicken sandwich.
like Roxy usually say, we take the grill part of the seafood and grill series. So.
All good. Hey, so I was going to say something, but my mind is just wandering today, and my headset just cut out because I made the mistake of moving my wire. But I could hear everybody and everything. I'm connected. I remember things. I just started watching Severance last night.
I
which
like
is a
their show. I don't know.
spooky- I don't know if
it's
you've been
everyone says
watching
it is.
that at all.
I
It's sort
have
of
not.
crazy, that show.
I've heard about it.
I just watched episode 1. The whole premise is a little bit offbeat, that where you go into work and they sever your memories in half so that when you're at work, you know nothing about what you're like outside in the real world. And when you're out in the real world,
That's
you
brutal.
remember nothing about work. It's Ben Stiller that's behind it. I don't know if I'm going to get into it all the way, but I guess I'll give it a few more episodes. But I feel kind of like that now because my
interesting.
memory is failing me. But, should we take another break?
Let's do it.
Let's take
Let's
another
reset.
break, and hopefully I'll get reoriented into time and place. You know what it is? This chili and jambalaya is just knocking me
It's
out.
great.
It's,
No,
it's
it's great.
freaking great. We're at Luke's, 5511 South University Drive. You see,
Come on
I'm
by.
oriented again. We're going to take our second break, and we'll be back with more on the Lunchbox after these words. For the finest poultry and the freshest fish, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, open 7 days. Since 1951, a South Florida tradition for stone crab in season, Thanksgiving turkeys, holiday feasts, and everyday eating. Great steaks, house-made sausage, and prepared foods, too. Delaware is not just a market, it's a celebration of taste, quality, and old-fashioned customer service with a smile. Sign up for their weekly email flyer at DelawareChicken.com and tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a great bagel with lox, matzo ball soup, deli sandwich, and rugelach, you know where I go? Grandpa's Restaurant in Dania Beach. It's a South Florida institution since 1957 that was revamped a few years back by a pair of New York bagel baking legends. Full deli and appetizing case with spreads, salads, and platters for takeout and catering. Grandpa's is near Federal Highway just north of Sterling Road, open 7 days for breakfast and lunch. Go eat and enjoy. It's Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. For the finest and authentic Greek cuisine, Taverna Kima is the place to go. 6298 North Federal Highway in Boca Raton. It's been around for nearly 2 decades. Every day is a feast with grilled lamb and fish, house-made spinach pie and moussaka, gyros, traditional dips, mezes, with soft, warm pita. It's open 7 days for lunch and dinner with happy hour daily from 3 to 6 p.m., indoor, outdoor, private dining. So celebrate life at Taverna Kima. For reservations and information, go to Taverna. Southern comfort food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, and also now with a new location on Las Olas Boulevard. Those are my spots. Upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. If you want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting, have I got the place for you. Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasta platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi, fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox at Luke's. Luke's chatting up some of his regular guests, having a great lunch here, digging my jambalaya chili and the tostone, which is going to be a summer special coming and going next week. You call it just a seafood tostone?
Seafood tostones.
Yeah, very, very nice and light.
No,
I got to admit, I'm not the world's biggest tostone/plantain
I'm
fan.
not normally, but
It's just one of those things. There's certain things in life, just the texture, like shredded
Mhm.
coconut gets me. And as a critic, I'm supposed to put all my personal feelings aside.
You can't.
And I'm going to say, no, it's a good tostone. It works. It's a nice light, it basically it acts as a canvas, and you put on all the pretty stuff on
Bingo.
top, and you take a nice bite. And if you're into this tostone, and
see,
you
I'm
are,
usually not.
You
I
marry
love
Latin, you
well,
have to, right?
we love Maduros. We're not big tostones fans because a lot of the time tostones don't have flavor, and a lot of the time
They don't.
tostones are thick. So the outside is nice, but the inside has a weird consistency.
Mhm.
So it's all about whatever mojo you put on top of it, or whatever garlic, like lime
Mhm.
configuration they put on top. Or what I do like is when it is used as
This is crispy.
As a
I mean, it's
canvas.
a
good.
medium for the stuff on top. But Luke also, again, which is why we talk about this every time, Luke pays attention to what he sees around. It's like, okay, what could I do to make that better? He's made it really thin. So it's not just the outside that's crispy. The entire thing through is crispy, so that it's not just about the thing on top. The actual tostone is really good.
It's good.
And I'm normally not a big fan, actually, but
Listen,
the way he did it is exactly what I want. It's like a chip. So it has its flavor. It's
Being
not just the
Caribbean,
outside.
I love tostones. I could eat it without nothing.
Right.
Good
I
for
could
you.
just eat it just like that. But there's a lot of people like Mike. There's a lot of people like you.
Yep.
So hence, if I'm gonna do it and present it, I gotta add the component that means the most to me, which is flavor.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's
I
got
have
flavor.
flavor too.
And that's it. And it's so funny because I think it all boils down to what you grew up with. And like,
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't grow up with a lot of tostones.
I did.
Somehow I grew up with chopped liver, and I like chopped liver, and I could
That's when
see
I can't
how
agree with you.
most people in the world would detest this stuff
Yeah,
because
it's not great.
it's pretty weird.
I
But
agree. I'm not a big chopped liver fan.
yeah, you have it.
Me too. I did grow up with it, and I'm not a fan.
Hey, meanwhile, I'm back in the fold. I got my wits back. I gotta fess up. The reason why I got so fachaded in the last segment was because I just looked down at my phone. I saw I was added to a group text from Marco Rubio,
Oh, shut up.
and it was titled "Invasion of Greenland."
Oh, God.
So I don't know,
Jesus.
but if I was in Greenland, I don't know. Are there actually people that live in Greenland?
Yes, it's a country.
Well, then I'd be
People
very
live
nervous
there,
now,
yes,
but,
it's a beautiful
no.
country.
By the way, I never told the story about how Marco Rubio one time tried to get me fired at the Sun Sentinel when I was a
Really?
news
Please do
columnist.
tell.
Really?
You want to hear
Really?
this?
I do.
Really?
All right.
I do.
This was back. Remember when he had the
Like, he
whole?
went out of his way, like didn't just criticize you, like he went
No.
out of his way to try and have you lose your job.
He had his chief of press staff. He was a senator in
He was
Washington
a state
at the
senator,
time.
wasn't he? First,
Yeah, I
right?
know
remember
back
being-
in the
State
day
I remember
senator
when
when he
being
was
in
a
Tallahassee.
federal
I
senator.
remember when he was Speaker of the House in Tallahassee, the
when I
state
did my internship, he was up
legislature.
there. Yeah.
And I did a panel with him where we were sitting side by side. This is going back to like
It's early 2000s.
2003.
Yeah, early 2000s.
So we were like contemporaries, and he got ragged on because when he was Speaker of the House in Tallahassee, he was one of these, oh, we've got to shrink government Republicans. And I hate to get political here, but just the facts of the matter was he spent more on office redecorations and furniture than any Speaker of the House in history.
Oh my
So it's one of
God.
those things
Like,
that
dude, what are
we
you doing?
journalists love, which is just a good case of hypocrisy. And so, because, well, whatever, he never really liked me from that moment on. But when he got to the Senate, and remember the time when he gave the rebuttal, the Republican response, and he got the dry mouth and started lunging for the water bottle, and it became known as Watergate again because he had that deer in the headlights look, and nobody remembered anything he said except the fact that he just with the water. And at that point, he was being talked about as a contender, being a presidential nominee.
He ran, yep.
And he was young at the time. He's been around Washington now for a lot longer, but back then I think it was like 42 years old. Hate to be long-winded, but I had the idea as a news columnist to go out and just canvass his neighbors because he lived on a street
Miami,
in Westchester near where Burger Beast is.
It's like Hallelujah,
in near Miami Airport. But he wasn't in a gated community. He was at the end of a block, a nice newer house.
There's not a lot of gated communities.
No, it was a newer house at the end of a cul-de-sac. So my idea, because I was kind of a boots on the ground Jimmy Breslin news columnist, was to talk to his neighbors about whether they thought, what they thought of him as a potential presidential candidate. And
it's not the worst idea. The problem is he's probably going to show a lot of things about him that he doesn't want people to know.
Facts. Well, I went up and down the block, and most of it was, we like Marco, but he's too young. He's too inexperienced.
That's the thing.
A couple of people who are seniors who are, they spoke only Spanish, but I spoke my pidgin Spanish. And, I just got a sense. But at the end, I decided, I thought he was in D.C., but there was a car that was in his driveway. So you knock on the door. The reporter, what does a reporter do? It's not against the law to knock on a door. No. If they tell me to scram and I'm trespassing, then I go away.
Yeah.
Well,
his parents are there.
Who opens the door?
Parents. Okay.
No, not his parents. His wife.
Oh, is that cool? Wife?
And I think
his wife lives in the house.
She was here. And he was in D.C.
He was a senator living with a house in Westchester.
Yeah, wow, but it was a nice house. Okay, it was like it was a tear down that they built up.
Parts of because Westchester, I know.
It was actually a for sale sign because it was at the time where he was going to be moving into more of a gated community because his profile was being raised.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry to bore you.
No,
this is
interesting to me.
I may be bored. Luke wanted this.
So. Knock on the door. Who opens the door but his wife? I think her name is Janine. Okay. She was a former Miami Dolphin cheerleader.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if I knew her at all when she was with the Dolphins, but she opens the door. I identify myself, and she was as nice could be.
Well, you're not going to turn down talking to her if she's open to it.
And it was, raining outside. I was getting soaked, and we had a nice chat. I told her that I never expected to find her here, but, I was just kind of talking about what happened with the whole incident with the water. Then she asked if I wanted a bottle of water and all this color that you can't resist using in a column.
Yeah.
And she offered to give me an umbrella to walk back to my car. I said, no, thanks. I'm fine. She was nice. Cordial.
You would say
she wasn't angry. I just had some pleasantries. There was nothing I could really use apart from she offered me the bottle of water. Lady, I wasn't looking to, drill her down of saying, do you think your husband's ready to be president? I didn't do any of that.
She's not gonna say that.
All right. So I go back to the car and I was like, okay, I got gold. I got what I needed to end the column. And not more than 5 minutes in the car, I get a cell phone call from my boss, my editor. It says, what did you do? I was like, uh-oh, what do you mean? Because I got Marco Rubio's press chief says that you totally you trespassed and you accosted his wife.
That fast?
And they want you fired. I was like, well,
for knocking on a door?
No, again, and I explained.
Did they even have the no soliciting sign? Did they even have that on their thing? No soliciting?
No, not that I saw.
Okay,
that's an exaggeration probably from the wife to him.
Well, I don't know. The wife probably just
said.
The wife probably just called and said, "Hey, Marco, a reporter or
here,
a guy was just here from the Sun Sentinel,
and he lost it because he's in DC.
Because I think I gave my card and everything. I don't hide who I am.
No, you didn't do anything wrong.
And then much to my relief, and as it should be, my editor stood up for me and said he did nothing wrong. He just was being a reporter, and I explained that she was cordial. I did nothing against
It
her
wasn't a hit
wishes.
piece.
She didn't.
You didn't even take the umbrella.
I didn't even take the umbrella. It wasn't even theft. So anyway, I was not fired. I continued on in my career, and Marco Rubio continued his ascent up the halls of power. And here we are today.
And now he's leaking.
Secretary of State.
Marco is sinking into the couch when foreign leaders are there. But anyway, that's my story.
That's interesting.
And politicians are want to
They're
get
fair game. I mean,
I
what
guess.
do you
Well,
mean?
politicians are fair game, but as we see, sometimes they're prone to distortions and exaggerations. But anyway, that's that. Thrilling stuff here on the Lunchbox.
No, I
today.
think it's interesting.
I think
I thought that was a nice story.
I just think it's weird that they try to, like, he knew you weren't getting fired, so
Right.
it's like, why even just try and do the leverage?
But I wouldn't say that
move?
it was even him. I'll say that was his press secretary.
Yeah,
blah
yeah,
blah
yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah.
Well, I'm sure Marco hit the roof and talked to the press. It was like, who is this?
Well, he
me,
probably
it-
said make a phone call.
To me, it feels like
Yeah.
when Riley works the refs, knowing he's not going to get more calls this game.
Spolstra.
Well, no.
Back in the
Riley,
day.
Riley used to do that. But Spoelstra's not so bad about it. Riley it was very intentional. It was Phil Jackson where he would like mention the refs, knowing he may get
Yeah.
fined, but it may help him the
To
next
protect
game.
his players.
Spo doesn't do that.
Oh, Spo
Riley
does.
Spo does stuff, and he's very Riley-esque, but Riley would do certain things where you'd be like,
Right.
but it may or may not work. Like that feels like that's what they're doing there. Where it's like, I know we're not getting this guy fired, but maybe he'll back off more, which is not what they dealt with the wrong dude. Like that would
Right.
just invigorate
Well,
Mayo.
again, they were working the refs or working the editors.
Let me ask
and-
you guys a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I'm glad you guys brought this up. I forgot to ask you when we were talking
Yeah.
about the Jimmy stuff. Why are Heat fans so loyal to Pat Riley?
Because they've won a
because
lot. It's
he
something
delivered
Ethan
the
Skolnick
team
talks
from
about.
irrelevance to becoming
Yeah, but
a contender and
I
champion.
agree with all that, but we do understand that he's 80 years old.
Yeah. No, I mean, his days are numbered if not already done. Like,
Good.
it's great.
Oh, you
Yeah,
should have
by
tried
the
it when
way.
It's
they
a
were
great
hot.
crispiness. and
It's
I
all
love
right.
the
I don't
sauce.
need. If I try them when they were hot, I devour the whole thing, and then my diet gets shot. All right.
You waited for it to be
And
cold.
are you being ageist now? I'm going to tell Defoe that you're
I
ragging
am not.
on Riley for being.
No, I'm just ready
80.
for a new
Yeah.
regime with the Heat.
Really.
Well,
I
I think-
am.
I think
As a
that-
Heat fan, I am.
And yet you're satisfied with the Dolphins.
Yes, but it's
Yeah,
not,
You're an
it's not-
enigma, my
hold
friend.
on, but it's not the same regime.
Yeah.
It's not the same regime with the Dolphins because I think we're in a new
Chris
era.
Greer's been there 10 years,
No,
right?
but I think in the NBA we're in a new era with players, and the old
Riley.
ways
Yeah,
of
where
the
they run the
80s with
show.
Riley does not, relate with today's. sport. That's my thing.
Ethan Skolnick talked about this a lot, and he tweeted about it today. And it's the reality where people are hard on Riley, South Floridians. People are used to the Heat being, it was the Spurs for a while, but it's been the Lakers, the Celtics, and for the last 20 something years, the Heat were in that top 3-4 franchise discussion. People who are from South Florida remember that the Heat were sixth in their own market, like the Canes, the Dolphins, maybe the Marlins.
I wish I
all
had
these
this hot
teams
because they're so freaking good.
were
now. I'm
ahead
sorry.
of the Heat. That the Heat have been number one in our market for a long time now, and that's because of Riley. So
The last
Should he
great
have a
acquisition
blank
Pat
check?
Riley
No.
made was Shaq.
no, but I mean,
That
Butler.
Pat Riley literally made
Oh,
himself with
oh,
Shaq.
But he
yeah.
talked LeBron into coming.
No, that was
Supposedly
D
it's
Wade.
Wade. It was
That
Wade.
was D Wade.
I mean, the reality is it's
That was
Wade,
D
Bosh,
Wade.
and LeBron.
Jimmy Butler
wanted
was
to play
D
good.
Wade. Again,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
players' league.
Yeah.
So
You-
we have to
Wow.
find someone that's
We've
relatable
learned
with the
something
players.
new. He will forgive Chris Greer and Tua anything
Because
but,
the NFL is not as much a players' league as the NBA is.
all right.
Well, I also,
That's just me.
I
My
think,
mouth is agape.
I
That
think
you are so
Riley's-
patient with the Dolphins, and the Heat have one down year, and didn't they go to the finals
Because-
like 2 years
2 years
ago?
ago, yeah.
They did.
Well, and they'll be in the playoffs this
Oh,
year,
what
too.
have you
with
done
a
for me
great
lately?
player.
Oh,
No,
my
but
God.
with a great player. But
Right.
he
Now they
chased
got
LeBron out of town. He chased Jimmy out of town.
I don't think he chased anybody.
Oh, he chased LeBron out of town.
I think LeBron just.
Listen, these little comments in the media, these players not a days
No,
are
they don't
sensitive.
like it. Yeah, they don't like it.
They not built like
they
the
want to
old
be
guys used to.
coddled. They're little babies.
They
you know
are.
what?
I think Riley's.
They win.
I think the guys that are at the top of the Heat are good. I think Riley's not that involved anymore. What I will say is Riley does seem to be involved enough where this era player does, because I don't think they have an issue with Adam Simon or Ellisberg or Spo. They all praise those three guys. Riley, I don't think really does a lot of the decision making anymore, but you probably aren't wrong in the sense that he does just enough to piss people off.
Exactly.
You're not wrong, because they
Wow.
always mention Riley on
So
the way
you
out.
want Riley
I don't
to,
want him gone,
to go to some of those beaches,
but
that
I think he's
talked
going to be
about
gone.
for
He's
the
80
last
years old. He's not going to be
30
hurt.
years.
I just want Rice to enjoy the fruits of his labor and leave today's players
Whatever
to
time
Spo.
is left.
Give Spo all the control.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
well,
so that's what you're saying is
I love
the
it.
Heat fan that could see Riley being here forever.
I love the fact that you
Yeah.
have
Yeah, that's too much. I
Yes.
don't know a lot of those Heat fans.
the man makes a mean jambalaya and chili and beignets, and he also
We found his
has
nerve. We hit a
some
nerve
strong
with Luke.
opinions. I like it.
Sorry,
I like
Riles.
it.
I love you. Thank you for 3
I
championships.
just love that it's Riley. That's so
it.
funny. That's Riley. about it.
Ingrates, I tell you. All right, let's take our third and final break, and then we'll wrap up this edition of the Lunchbox from Luke's Seafood and Grill in Davie.
Hey Lunchbox fans, is it time to sell your business? You've poured your heart and soul into your restaurant or business, and you want to see continue the legacy you have built. Transworld can help. Call me, Andy Cagnetta, at Transworld Business Advisors right now and see if it's time for you to retire and relax. Iconic brands like the Mai Kai, Mulligans, Carlos and Pepe's, Mangoes, and many more turn to Transworld to help sell. Contact Transworld on Facebook or call 954-772-1122 or visit tworld.com. Again, that's 954-772-1122 or tworld.com.
When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks. They're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the fresh local fish, a sophisticated setting. I'm talking about Corvina Seafood Grill. It's at 110 Plaza Real South in Boca Raton, just south of Palmetto Park Road. It's the place to go for the freshest and local seafood and fish, some of it with a Peruvian twist like their great ceviches. It's open 7 days for dinner. They also have happy hours 7 days a week. You don't want to miss it. It's a great place. CorvinaBocaRaton.com for more information and reservations. Tell them the lunch. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. Luke's had to go prepare for the dinner rush. And just one note, Marco Rubio's wife is named Jeanette. She was a former Dolphins cheerleader. She was nice as could be.
She was nice.
I hold nothing against her. And as a postscript to that riveting story, it should be noted that the Rubios did move to a gated community shortly after I knocked on the door, so they could never be bothered by an uninvited reporter or a Jehovah's Witness after that point. Okay, we're going to get out of here. We didn't talk about everything I wanted to, but that's okay.
We have another show.
We're going to be back in a couple of hours down at the river.
Yes.
The new river, that is, for the house on the river. Steve DePuzzo from Society 8 Hospitality. He's got so many balls in the air. He's like a juggler. And we love House on the River. It is such a beautiful spot. We're going to have a little happy hour down there. We had our late lunch here. I don't need to eat anything else all day. I am totally satisfied.
Well, I'm eating House on the River.
And if you've never been to Luke's, come on here, check it out.
Such a good job.
Tell me, if you get this jambalaya and you don't like it, then you don't like jambalaya, because it's some of the finest you can find anywhere. Chili is definitely has got a good fire. And it's got the beans in it, a little bit of ground beef. It's not your Skyline chili. This is the real chili, kind of the ones you'd find in Texas or other chili havens. Yep. All right, Lubie, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you in a little bit down by the river, House on the River, 5 p.m. start or thereabouts. Come on out there, because it will be happy hour, and we're going to be enjoying ourselves. And let me just give a shout out to our premier sponsors, Tropical Acres, going there for happy hour tonight, also 4:30 to 6:30 in the bar. Make your reservations for Mother's Day, which is May 11th. And before that, Easter Sunday, April 20th, 954-989-2500. going to Delaware Chicken and Seafood to pick up stuff for the upcoming holidays or the upcoming NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Batch, new Southern Kitchen and Tap, keeps getting praise on the Let's Eat group, and even Luke himself
Batch
on his
been there a few
days off have gone in there a couple times. He said their jambalaya is good too.
He's like defending it to us.
No, I mean, that's the beautiful thing. I love a restaurateur
gets it,
that's
yeah.
gracious, and he realizes it's not a zero-sum game.
Nah,
He could have great jambalaya. Batch can have great jambalaya.
Yep.
Doesn't diminish anybody. Come on in, check it all out. All right, until a couple hours, remember to enjoy every chili and beignet and enjoy every sandwich. Did I make it?